Hello Year 4, and today is Friday the 5th of February and this is our last learning journey lesson for this week. So we are thinking about how our diet can affect our energy levels, and the idea is that we want to plan a healthy meal plan, we want to design a healthy meal plan that's going to maximise our energy levels. Okay, so basically a healthy balanced diet, which is what we've been looking at so far. So on Wednesday in the recording we looked at the food pyramid, okay, and that showed us what we should be eating more of and what we should be eating less of, and you had to think about your favourite foods and where they would fit in with the food pyramid. I've also asked you to keep a kind of food diary because we want to think about what we're eating as well, and if our diet is affecting our energy levels, basically. So kind of like a little experiment there on ourselves, and then we are rating how energetic we felt that day, which at the moment is quite difficult because we're not allowed to do much at all. So when we are sitting around, we don't feel very energetic. I find that if I'm not doing anything, I tend to feel tired, okay, despite what I've eaten. But if I'm up and moving, I know some of you are doing Joe Wick's exercise in the morning, which is good, gives you a bit of a healthy physical boost. So just really want to see, what we should be eating and what it does to our bodies. So as we go through this PowerPoint, you might want to pause in places to make notes. At the end, afterwards, what I would like you to do is I've got some nutrition labels on a couple of drinks, and you're going to answer questions, but I'll explain that more when I come to it. But as we go through, you might want to make a few notes about the different food groups, because we're going to look at the Eat Well plate again, which we looked at yesterday in the Zoom, and think about why we need more of those foods as opposed to others, what they actually do for our bodies. Okay, so all the while we are thinking about this designing of the healthy meal plan. That is our key objective, what we need to keep in mind as we go through. So, we already know, why do we need food? Food keeps us healthy, it helps us grow. Food gives us energy to be able to do things during the day. So this is a key point here. Without proper nutrition, your body can't survive. When you eat a balanced diet, your body obtains the fuel and the nutrients it needs to function properly. And we looked at how our body did that, didn't we, when we looked at the digestive system and all the important parts that play in that function. So, for example, your body needs minerals to make hormones, build bones and regulate your heartbeat. It needs water to flush out any toxins, transport the nutrients to the cells, because our bodies are made up of cells, we're all made up of cells, and perform other vital bodily processes. Now, if we're not doing this, our body is not going to work properly. Okay, so we're going to look at this in a bit more detail as well. Food labelling. Now, I showed you when we set up the tooth experiment, there was the food labelling on the drinks, wasn't there? And we've got this like traffic light system. So nutrition labels can help you choose between products and whether the food is high in fat, salt and added sugars. Colour-coded nutritional information tells you if the food has a high, medium or low amounts of fat, saturated fat, sugars and salts, because we know that too much of this is bad for us. Green is a low amount, so you can see this has got a low amount of energy, a low amount of sugar. Medium amount is yellow or amber, so this has got a medium amount of fat, 15 grams, 2% of your daily, I think this is the percentage of how much you are allowed. Saturated fat, which isn't good for you, is the 6 grams, so a medium amount of saturated fat. And red means that it's got a high amount, so this has got a high amount of salt at 19% of your allowance, or 0.2 grams, which is a lot. Okay, so you don't want to be eating too many foods that have red on the packaging. Okay, so if you buy a food that is all or mostly green on the label, it is obviously going to be the healthier choice. okay, whereas all red would be quite an unhealthy choice. So I'll let you think about that. Right, so here's the Eat Well plate that we did the sorting activity on yesterday. So to be healthy and nutritious, it's a bit like the pyramid. Food is needed to provide energy for the body. Again, key point in answering our learning journey question. A variety of food is needed in the diet because different foods contain different substances that are needed to keep you healthy. Okay, so a variety of food is really important because they provide different things. An average meal should be made up of 1/3 carbohydrates, so this is the amber section, 1/3 fruit and vegetables. So if you remember, this was at the bottom of the pyramid, so we needed more of this and slightly less of this, but still quite a lot because it was at the bottom. And then with the remaining 1/3 split between protein, which is here, you can see the meat, that lovely steak there, fish, eggs, the beans, okay, so this is your protein section, and your dairy section, you can see the cheese, yogurt, milk, and then with a little bit of fat, okay, so not all fat is bad, a little bit of fat is important because our body does need that too. And then on the outside, the things that are a bit of a treat, we need less of. These were right at the very top of the pyramid, things like chocolate and crisps, etc. Okay, so there's our Eat Well plate that we looked at yesterday. Right, so why do we need these things? What is it about all these foods we need? So again, you might want to take notes, especially as it will help you when it comes to planning our own healthy diets, meal plans. So fruit and vegetables are a really good source of vitamins and minerals, including vitamin C and potassium. They're an excellent source of dietary fibre, which helps maintain healthy digestion, which we know is very important. A diet high in fibre can also reduce your risk of heart disease, stroke, and some cancers. Help to keep your body healthy, to grow and repair, and to fight infections. And fruit and vegetables taste delicious, and there's a wide variety to choose from. Okay, so this is 1/3 of your plate. So basically, the main part of your diet, which you should eat 7 portions of, at least 5 fruit and vegetables. And here we've got some examples of what counts as 1 portion of fruit and vegetables. Okay, so 1 medium apple, a banana, an orange, or a pear. So I've had an apple and a banana today, so I've had 2 of my portions, so I've got a few more to make up. 2 small size apricots, kiwi fruit, plums, cup of diced or canned fruit, make sure it hasn't got the added sugar. A portion of vegetables, which 75 grams is roughly about half a cup of green or orange vegetables, for example broccoli, spinach, carrots or pumpkins. So if you imagine a teacup filled half full with carrots, that would count as a portion. Okay, half a cup cooked, dried or canned beans, peas or lentils, preferably with no added salt. A cup of leafy or raw salad vegetables, half a cup of sweet corn, half a medium potato or other starchy vegetables like sweet potato, or a medium tomato. And it says eat at least 5 a day, but we should be aiming for 7 if we want to have a variety. So we don't want to eat 7 portions of carrots, which, although good for you, we want to try and have a variety of fruit and vegetables in our healthy meal plan. Okay, bread, rice and potatoes. So these are starchy foods, and these are a good source of energy. You find athletes will eat a larger amount of these because they need the energy, they need the calories. And the main source of a range of nutrients in our diet. As well as starch, they contain fibre, calcium, iron and B vitamins. I know B vitamins are important for energy, and you should eat lots of these foods every day. But watch out for the added fats used when you cook and serve them. This is what increases the calorie content. So if you are, especially pasta, tend to cook it in salted boiling water. You've got your bread there, you know, if you put in a lot of butter on your bread, that all makes it not as healthy. And remember, potatoes don't count as one of your fruit and vegetables. Potatoes are actually in the carbohydrates section because they're starchy. They've got starch in. Okay, and then we've got the milk and dairy, so we've got the smaller amounts now. So milk and dairy are great sources of protein and calcium, and to make healthier choices, go for the lower fat milk and the lower fat dairy foods, so low fat yogurts, semi-skimmed milk. I know you can get lower fat butters and spreads. Our bodies need protein to work properly and to grow and repair themselves. Calcium helps to keep our bones and teeth strong. The calcium in dairy food is particularly good for us because our bodies absorb it really easily. And then we've got some examples of what would count as one of our dairy. So a 200 millilitre glass of milk, a pot of yoghurt, or 30 grams or a matchbox sized piece of hard cheese. Okay, so a cheese sandwich would be a healthy option for a packed lunch, wouldn't it, if we were doing a lunchtime? So you could have your wholemeal bread from the carbohydrate section, a low fat spread, your cheese on there, you'd have a yoghurt as well as fruit and vegetables. So you could really get yourself a healthy lunch out of that. And we should only have 2 or 3 portions of these every day. So if you were to have that at lunchtime, that would be your recommended daily allowance. Right, so the meat, fish, eggs and beans and other non-dairy products. Meat is a really good source of protein, vitamins and minerals in your diet. These foods help the body to grow and repair itself and keep your hair, your skin, your muscles and your nails strong. Some meats are high in saturated fat, which can raise blood cholesterol levels. Now I know red meat, you shouldn't eat too much of this as your portion because that is higher in saturated fat, and you can see the fat there on a nice steak. They're very, very tasty. You wouldn't really be recommended to eat a steak a day or more than 1 steak a day. So we should eat some foods from this group every day. Chicken and fish are very healthy options. And obviously beans if you're vegetarian. Okay, and then foods and drinks, high in fat and sugar. These foods provide the body with energy, warmth and insulation around vital organs. So, but too much fat in your diet. So this is why we need a little bit of fat, but not too much, because it does give us energy and it does provide insulation around our vital organs inside our body. But too much will raise cholesterol, which will increase the risk of heart disease. A small amount of fat is essential, as we just said, part of a healthy balanced diet. It is a source of essential fatty acids such as omega-3 because the body can't make them itself. Fat helps the body absorb vitamins A, D and E. Okay, so it is important but not too much. Current UK government guidelines advertise cutting down on all fats and replacing saturated fat with some unsaturated fat. So there are different types of fats. Some fats are a lot better for you than others. For example, this omega-3 is found in fish, and that is much better for you than the fat found in a packet of digestive biscuits. Okay. Right, here we've got some examples you might have heard. So, saturated fats are found in many foods, both sweet and savoury. So this is what we need to think about again when we are planning our energy efficient healthy meal plan. So foods high in the saturated fat are fatty cuts of meat, meat products including sausages and pies, butter, ghee and lard, cheese, especially hard cheese, cream, sour cream and ice cream, some savoury snacks and chocolate confectionery, biscuits, cakes and pastries, palm oil, coconut oil and cream. So it's best to reduce your overall fat intake and swap those saturated fats as much as you can for the unsaturated fats. So there's real good evidence that replacing the saturated with the unsaturated can help lower cholesterol. So foods that are low in that saturated fat are things like olive oil, rapeseed oil and their spreads, avocados, and some nuts such as almonds, Brazils and peanuts. Okay, so these would be the healthier choice of fats, although obviously some fat is okay, but you don't want to be eating too many of these each day. Opt for those. Okay, so I'm going to be putting up in Class Dojo these pictures. Okay, so they're the nutrition information for 2 different drinks. Okay, so I want you to look carefully at the energy, the amount of protein in each one, the amount of fats. You've got saturated fat in each one, carbohydrates, the sugars, okay, and the sodium, which is salt. Now, look carefully at what's inside, what the ingredients are as well. So you can see this one has got whole milk, concentrated skim milk, banana, strawberry, kiwi fruit, plum, pear, gelatin and culture thickener. So this has got things added to it. So you've got some natural things, but you've also got some added things there. This bottom one contains water, skimmed milk. Okay, so whole milk has got more fat in, skim milk has got less. Apple 20%, blueberry 12%, pineapple 10%, and it hasn't, like this one, has got things added to it. So have a study of this. You might want to pause it and just have a look, okay, and compare the amounts of things in, thinking about, you know, what we need more of, what we need less of. Okay, and then there's going to be some questions to answer here. So which product has the most amount of sugar per serving? So just call it A or B. Which product has the least amount of sodium? Which product has the most amount of saturated fats? Which product has fewer additives? So that's the extra things that we don't recognise. So we know, like the apples and the bananas and the water and the milk, and then we had some other things added to one of them. After reading both of them, so the nutrition labels on both products, which would you choose as a healthier option, and can you explain why? Okay, so I'm going to put these questions up on Class Dojo. I'll put this one on the class page, and then I'll put these ones in the portfolio. Okay, so if you can't get onto the portfolio, you might want to just make a note, pause this in a moment and make a note of these questions and then answer them from the class page. Otherwise, you can just go into portfolio and put your answers on here. Okay, it's up to you how you want to do that. If you want to write them down, take a picture, send them me that way, or if you can get into class, the portfolio section, you can answer on here. Okay, so I will just leave that for a moment to pause if you want to copy these questions down, and then I shall say goodbye. Okay, bye for now, Year 4.